Hey, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Cosmos Atom. I do want to say that I'm not a financial advisor. You should do your own research before investing money into crypto. If you haven't seen the previous update, make sure to watch that before watching this one. It's going to be in the top right hand corner of the video. Watch it so that you have more context because I'm not going to be repeating a lot of the stuff that I said in the last update. So once you've done that, welcome to the video. Let's start off with the technical analysis. So as you can see, Cosmos Atom has been on a roll as of late. Actually, we are on the weekly chart. I do want to switch over to the daily, or you know what, we can just stay on the weekly for a bit. So as you can see, our major resistance level right now is the 55 EMA on the weekly chart. This is the red line here. We have broken through the 20 EMA. This is a very bullish sign from Cosmos Atom. And we have actually gone to the 2.272 of this Fib retracement. So $11.50 was our target. And as you can see, in the past 2 weeks, we've had two strong moves to the upside. So we held the 1.272 as support at $9.90. And from there, we had another impulsive move to the upside. So we're going to remove this Fib for now. We're going to set up a new Fib. And as you can see, the 786 Fibonacci retracement here is a major resistance level that I was talking about for multiple months. And as you can see, we broke through the golden ratio. We had a nice retest here of the 0.618, and now we're coming up to the 786. Now, granted, we could see a pullback to the 786 still, right? We could come back all the way to this Fib level here at $8.75. That is still a very, very possible thing that could happen if Bitcoin starts dropping quickly. And Bitcoin could drop quickly in September because we have the FOMC meeting coming up in September. We have the ETH merge, which could make the Bitcoin maxis basically drop the markets, and just so that Ethereum doesn't perform better than Bitcoin because they don't want to have a Bitcoin competitor, so to speak, do better than Bitcoin in a bear market. And you also have the inflation data coming in. So all of these can really negatively affect the markets. And that's why I think we could have another drop. And all of this hype, all of this, all of these strong moves to the upside are simply for whales to drop some of the coins they want to drop, to empty their bags basically and to buy back in if we're going to have a strong correction. But no one knows what is going to happen. We only need to be ready for both outcomes. That is what I try to preach on this channel. You need to be ready for a move to the upside, and you need to be ready for a move to the downside. That's why you never sell everything at this point, and you never sell anything at this point, because you could always go higher and you can always go lower. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And if we take a look at the weekly, or actually the weekly isn't going to be that great here. We're going to switch over to the daily chart for a second. So on the daily, we are getting overextended and we are getting into the overbought zone. So as you can see, anywhere from 72.5 to 75.5, each time we ran into that zone, we had a pullback. So we did that in September of 2021. So potentially we could do the same thing over here and then roll over. We also did that here in January of this year, and then we pulled back. And in terms of the support levels, you obviously have these three support trend lines that we have been hitting for the past couple of months, or for the past 5 months, I should say, at this point. So let's see, actually for this huge pink trend line, we've been hitting that since November of 2021. We had a move below it in April, and now we have recovered above it since June, and we haven't seen the back test of support here. So potentially this pink trend line is something that I'm going to be targeting. And if we enter this buy zone, or sell zone, I should say, this yellow rectangle zone, then that will be a great area to take some profits potentially. And I do think that, we may be running out of steam for Cosmos with this move to the upside, because we are quite overextended on the daily chart. As you can see, we are quite overextended from the 20 EMA. So a pullback to the 20 would be great, because we don't want to go parabolically. Now, this support level here at $12.65 is an incredible area to buy into Cosmos, because as you can see, way back here in May, this is where you got rejected from $12.65 after you had the capitulation. You went up, you retraced to $12.65. You got rejected from there, printed the low. Now you're retracing to this same high, and you're breaking this high, and now you want to back test it as support so that it's officially a support level. You want to confirm this previous resistance as support, and by doing that, you have to back test it, obviously. So that would mean that we would potentially go below the 20 EMA because the 20 EMA is above this support level. So we may lose the 20 EMA for a couple of days, just like we did over here and over here. So as you can see, you did go below the 55 EMA for 2 days, and then you started recovering. So the same thing could happen here, but you do have this golden buy zone that I would be targeting if we saw another pullback. So this is anywhere from $8.05 to $7.45. Now we could obviously get to this price. We could even, drop all the way back to $5.90. No one knows what's going to happen. Just because we're sitting at $16, $17 right now doesn't mean that we can't dump back to these lows in June. Now, granted, we don't want to lose this low, right? So you don't want to be losing this key support low, because if you do that, that is a very negative statement, and you're going to have more targets to the downside. And at that point, we would be targeting $3.90, because if we continue with this move to the upside and we fail to break this high here at $35, well, then we're simply printing a lower high, right? And then we're continuing down. And whether we have a double bottom pattern here or whether we print a lower low, that is to be seen. But the fact that we won't break this, and we probably won't, that is negative in itself, okay? So don't get too bullish. Don't get too excited. Manage your expectations. If you bought in here and you want to take some profits, then a 3x from here is a pretty good deal, in my opinion. So if you want to do that, take some profits, wait for a pullback, because it is definitely going to come. Just obviously, right? We could go from here all the way to $25 in an instant, but the chances of that happening are very slim. So you have to be realistic. You have to apply logic to your charts. Now let's jump into the Binance website. Now, switching over to the weekly chart, I do want to show you the weekly RSI. So as you can see here, we have broken above the red resistance trend line that I talked to you about for multiple months. We broke that at 43, and now we're breaking back into the symmetrical triangle that we were in here, and potentially we're going to run into resistance here at the index of 57, 58, because that is coinciding with this resistance line, with this descending wide trend line that we have been hitting since February of 2021. So for more than a year and a half, we have been hitting this level. Once in February last year, once in September last year, then a little move to the upside just below it in January, a lower high in March of this year, and right now we're only retracing up to the March levels of this year. So ideally we want to break through this and back test it as support, and from there we can continue on. But no one knows what's going to happen, guys. This is just me speculating, and if you see a break at that point, I would stop all the swing trades, because once you break multi-month resistance trend lines, diagonal resistance trend lines, then you usually see a very, very strong move to the upside. So the higher the time frame, the more important all the patterns are, okay? So always keep that in mind. Now let's also take a look at the weekly MACD here. So as you can see, we have printed a bullish cross here on July 25th. So that was your precursor to this move, because even though this is a lagging indicator, but as you can see, the last time we had this in August of last year, we had a very strong move into November, and the same thing could happen here. We could have an overextended move for Cosmos and the entire crypto markets, including Bitcoin, going up into November and then crashing back down in December, January. So that is a possibility, right? You have to keep that in mind. And these bullish crosses, although they happen after a trend has already been set, and we have been in that trend for some time, this is your indicator that you should be looking at, because if you combine all the oscillators together, then you can have a better picture and a better understanding of the situation. So for the weekly RSI, I do think there is still room to go until the index of 58. And Regarding the weekly stochastic RSI, we are in the overbought here. So if you're trading based on the weekly stochastic, and I should tell you that I actually, oh yeah, I don't have it on 28. So usually I change the length here to 28 so that we have less false signals. And regardless, we still have the stock RSI in the overbought, which means it's above the index of 80. And basically when we have that, this is usually the top of the move, of the local move that we're in right now. So from here, we would see a move to the downside, do something like this maybe, and that's where you buy in. But having said this, the stochastic isn't a long-term indicator. So this is more of a mid-term indicator. You could obviously increase the length and have that of a more long-term indicator. But for me, the long-term oscillator is the relative strength index. And based on this, we're still not overbought on the weekly, but here you are. So this is just a midterm move. And if you want to buy back in a couple of weeks when we do have the potential pullback, then you could take some profits here and buy back in, because as you can see, we're having a very nice move to the upside. And what this also could be is this could be potentially an ABC move or an ABC correction. If I can just get the ABC, there we go. So as you can see, so this was your wave A, this is your B high, and we're looking for the C low, which could potentially be here at $3.90, which is the Fibonacci level that we talked about here, the 0.382. So you have to keep that in mind, because you can't be over too bullish all the time. You don't have to be a bull maxi, because clearly you're not going to be going up forever for Cosmos. So either take some profits now, and if it goes up higher, just don't care and just wait until it pulls back and then buy back in, because at this point we're in good profits for everyone who bought back in at these pullbacks. So that's pretty much it. The video has been going on for too long. I don't want to take any more of your time, guys. Thank you all for watching. Let me know what you think of Cosmos Atom. Are you buying in? Are you waiting? Are you selling? What are your targets? And what are your long-term targets for Atom? I'm going to catch you in the next one. Goodbye and good night.